Hi guys. I love that you found me at 6 instead of 5. Can you let me know who you are? Hi Millie. Hello. You can see we're getting to the routine now of you logging in and telling me who you are. We just have to make sure that Rafe's here since this was his request. So once we know that, we're up and running. Got 4 in. Fabulous. Hi Evie. So for those of you who are here, just FYI, I didn't make it to Spain, obviously, because of this wonderful virus. Hi, Leah. So I went to Devon instead, which was lovely, but it's not Spain. Pool, sea, sun. Hey ho, I can't complain. There you go. So I'm back. I missed you all. I was so tempted on Wednesday to just go live and just go, hi, everyone. And then thought that's really sad. So I didn't do it. Wants to know, Rafe, come on, Rafe, let us know you're here. Well, we're going to start without you, and this is for you. Oh my goodness, Leah, yeah, the kittens are actually in here. I don't know if you're going to see them around my messy. I'll move you. They're asleep. My mum's in the way. Down there. Check this out. Kittens. So cute. We could just look at kittens for half an hour. Tends to be all I do in my life now. Hang out with kittens. They are very cute. And they are starting to walk and they're getting very naughty. And we keep losing them. So they're penned in. But they are proper cute. Anyone would like a kitten? I've got 5 going spare. Just let me know. I need to find 5 homes. I cannot keep 5 kittens. But they are super cute. Okay, whilst we're just waiting to see if Rafe is coming in, I'll just recap kind of the framework that I'm following here, because for those of you guys, even if you're not studying Frankenstein, I know we're looking at that today because Rafe asked if we could just use a quote like we did from last time on how to do your 7+ analysis. So basically, we're going to go back through the same process, use a quote from Frankenstein, talk about it in depth, follow the step 1, 2, and 3, so that we can get that kind of depth of understanding of how to push ourselves up to the grade. And remember, you don't have to be given a predicted grade of a 7, 8, or a 9 to be able to do this. Every single one of you, I know, has the ability to understand this and follow this process. I know that you do. So please don't sell yourself short in thinking that you're not good enough to be able to do this or you can't do this. Frankenstein is quite challenging, but it's the process that we're trying to learn as we go through. That's the important thing. See, now I've shown you the kittens. Can't see my... It's ruined my thing. Hopefully, you can read that. Let's go there. Hopefully you should be able to see that. So this is the same as before. We're going to start our 7+ analysis by, again, we get our quote. Step 1, what is the literal meaning? So what is it that is being said in this text? So you have to be able to show, even for like your grade 4s, you've got to start at the base level, show that you understand what it is that you're talking about. So you have your literal meaning there. Then you go to your step 2, and this is where you move up the grades. So you're selecting your words. You've got to go, right, I've done my literal meaning, but what else could it suggest? What does it make you think of? What words could I pick out? What words could I talk about in more detail? What did those words suggest, make me think of? Tell me. And then link it back to that beginning of, okay, now we've said all of this about the language and the techniques. How does that relate to this piece of writing I'm looking at? So does it link to the characters? Does it link to the themes? What is it that's being said here? Okay, so that is our kind of 3-step analysis to make sure that you get that depth. Okay, so let's have a go. Here's one I made earlier. We have the quote. For those of you doing Frankenstein, this is chapter 3, when he starts to talk about his desire to become God, create life. And he has all this energy and passion to want this desire to become something. And quite often people aren't then taught about the fact that this is where that idea of the power of knowledge, the danger of knowledge, really creeps in very early on in the story. So we've got our quote. So much has been done, exclaims the soul of Frankenstein. Explore unknown powers, unfold to the world the deepest mysteries of creation. We know he likes to waffle on, he never says anything simply, but essentially our step 1 literal meaning here is this is his ambition. What I want to do, what my soul, my ambition is driving me to do, is to explore unknown powers, to basically explore the deepest mysteries of our creation, of our world. That is the literal. He's talking about his desire and ambition. Now that alone links and creates to these themes of science and power, because for those of you who do not know, Victor Frankenstein is a scientist, and he's looking to basically create a monster. And this is where he begins his passion to want to be a big scientist. He wants to be the best. He wants to move forwards. And in order to do that, he needs to be better than the others. He wants to become God and create life. He wants to uncover the deep mysteries of our world. And what Shelley is saying when we come to our sort of step 3 is how dangerous that actually is. So we have our quote. We have our literal meaning. This is my ambition. Then we go to our kind of depth and our understanding here. Now, first thing I'm going to pick up is the personification that he uses here, which most people miss. It is quite a tricky one. There's a bit of argument over whether we could say this is personification. But we have here, he describes his soul, he personifies his soul. Now, your soul isn't human. It's something that we believe is within you somewhere in your body, but it's not actually your human, your form. But it's telling him what to do. So much has been done, exclaimed the soul of Frankenstein. So the fact that he's talking about his soul, almost in third person as well, is that his soul, my soul told me to do it. Now, those of you that know me, and I love this book, I love Frankenstein, but man, does this guy get on my nerves, because it's all about me, 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 me. Let's talk about me. Let's not worry about the creature. Oh, everyone, look at me, talk about me. This is what he does. And even here, he personifies his soul. Well, it's not my fault. My soul told me to do it. Well, really? I think it's your fault. But this is what we have, personification here. So we're going into our deeper meaning. If we link that personification with the idea of explore and the idea of unknown and the idea of mysteries, and this is where, even if you don't know Frankenstein, you know the meaning of those words. If we connect those words together of someone exploring, unknown, well, explore basically means to discover, to learn, to find out about. So we've got him wanting to explore. Then we've got our unknown, which basically means something we have no knowledge of. So he wants to explore and find out about something we currently have no knowledge of. And then we have this idea of mysteries. Now, a mystery, the definition of a mystery is that it's difficult, it's kind of impossible. You can't really explain it because it's a mystery. So there's a reason that he's linking those together. There's a reason where we've got, I'm exploring the unknown mysteries. And that's sort of, it doesn't, you're trying to achieve you can't achieve that because it's a mystery. So Frankenstein already kind of feels that He is capable and better than anybody before, than anybody else we've had. And that again is where that arrogance comes across, which we're going to talk about, which is going to be your grade 9 golden gem nuggets a little bit later. So our deeper meaning from the language, we're grouping together the idea that here we have power, exploring, knowledge, bringing mysteries together. This is what Frankenstein wants to do. Now that links to our theme of science and this power and danger. What comes with knowledge is actually quite dangerous. And that's what she's trying to make us think of. Now, I've written this at the bottom. I don't know if you can see, but actually, whoa, his ambition, his desire, which is to explore this unknown, is to push beyond the limits of humanity. Because he wants to explore these unknown mysteries, he's trying to do something that actually we're not supposed to be able to do. So he's going beyond the human limits. And then that personification is almost his excuse, because he never wants to accept responsibility. And again, what Shelley's doing, if we link that to the theme of the fact that scientists never wanted to accept responsibility, they go ahead, they do all these things, they progress, and no one stops to think about the impact of what's happening. They just move on to the next thing. And we have that here. So already, step 1 and 2 has given us a hell of a lot to say. And we haven't even done the hard bit yet. So here's where you're really going to get those grades. Step 3, linking to the writer's purpose, linking to the depth, linking to the text, linking to the characters. This is where you're going to get your 7 pluses. Now, there's something here that we're going to talk about called a hubris. We're going to come back to that in a second. But here we have basically Frankenstein's desire to explore beyond our limits. So that's suggesting, as I've already said, he wants to become God. He wants to play God. Now, there's a lot of religious context that's going to come in there with that, because we're talking about a time when religion was really important, and he's trying to play God, which he shouldn't be doing. And this ambition essentially is flawed, because he's trying to discover something that's undiscoverable. So his dream, his ambition, is actually quite a deformed, distorted reality. And this is where we get the idea that he's actually quite an unstable, unreliable narrator. As a character, this ambition from the start has got so many flaws. He wants something that is not normal. And actually his fears, like when the creature opens its eyes, reaches out its hand, starts to convulse, Victor runs away. He doesn't nurture it like a parent should. He runs in the other direction. And that sort of suggests that danger of science. And if you really want to go to those high grades, we're talking there about the fact that scientists seem to have a lack of responsibility. They're not doing what they should be doing at this time. They're just moving on to the next thing and the next thing and not thinking about the consequences. Victor here has just created life and run off in the other direction because he's afraid of what he created. And that's where we realise actually this reality it's skewed, it's not right, it is a deformed reality, what he wants to create. Then we go, this is where the money is, people. The personification of his soul is his hubris. You probably haven't heard that before. If you have, amazing. If you haven't, don't worry. Your hubris is basically where it describes a personality quality that someone has to, I don't know if you can see it at the bottom, to extreme or kind of foolish lengths. So it's like that overconfident, over arrogance. It's when your personality is to an extreme. Now, we really get this with Victor because he's so fixated on this ambition. He locks himself away for 2 years. He doesn't see people. He doesn't sleep properly. He doesn't eat properly. He doesn't look after himself. So there's a danger here when your personality is that extreme, there's the psychology behind it, is how dangerous that can be. So here we have a very overconfident Victor. Now, of course, he's overconfident. He wants to play God. That's crazy in itself. So we have here as this hubris, this is his downfall. His personality is his downfall. And perhaps then maybe it's not his fault, but he thinks that his desire is just, he describes it as an innate characteristic. Innate basically meaning that it's in him. He can't control it. Again, making excuses. He loves to do that. It's not my fault. It was something else. It's not my fault. It was my innate characteristic. I was just born this way. I can't do anything about it. And that's sort of his get out clause all the time. But actually, we have this idea here that we've got a predetermined fate because he's arrogant, because he is overconfident, because of this hubris, this personality trait of him thinking that he's better than maybe everybody else or than he actually is. This arrogance just takes away his responsibility. He constantly makes excuses throughout the whole novel. We get to a point where all he does is talk about himself, and actually, no one really cares anymore because we all feel sorry for that poor creature that you created and then just left, and now you're tracking down to try and kill. So this hubris is ultimately what makes us as a reader begin to sort of dislike, distrust him. That's your high grades there, okay? And what happens is, and this is like real psychology, people, if you have your hubris and it is to that extreme length, what happens is you lose contact with reality. And there have been loads of psychological studies into people that kind of have that personality trait where it's so extreme in one way that they lose contact with reality. They actually lose contact with what is maybe right or wrong. And that certainly seems to be the case here with Victor, that he's just so extreme. He wants to play God. He goes and digs up body parts from graves and puts them together. Who does that? Loss of control, loss of contact with reality, definitely. So then you've got to think, pushing to the high grades, link it back. What's she saying about science? What's she saying about scientists? And really, that's up to you to then answer. So you'd write a hell of a lot about that quote. You could do your literal, then you can pick out your words, then you can link into this section, then you can talk about the personification, then you can show off about this personality, this extreme personality trait, and then you can come back to the writer and say, so what is it she's ultimately saying about scientists? Because this is what Victor represents here. And really, there's no right or wrong answer. It's what you think and what you believe from what you're reading. And you would probably at this point then want to link it to somewhere else in the novel, just to sort of reaffirm the argument that you're making. I personally think that she's trying to say that scientists are dangerous and that knowledge is good, but if it's used in the wrong way, it becomes dangerous. And that actually, as humans, we should think about our responsibilities, accept our responsibilities, not, just run away from them, make excuses, not think that it's going to have consequences on other people, which for a 19-year-old is a very deep philosophical kind of thought. But she is pretty incredible, so we'll give her that. And that's pretty much it, to be honest. I know I've talked really fast, but essentially, if you go back to this step 1, our literal meaning was, this is my desire, this is my ambition. Step 2, we picked out our words, explore, talked about them in more detail, went in what they might suggest. Step 3, how does this link to the characters? We've talked about personality traits, his hubris, the idea it links to science, power of knowledge, danger of knowledge. that fear of science, and suddenly you've gone from one quote and you've taken so much out of it that you're going to be hitting. If you get all of that, you're going to be on 9s. Okay. So there's a lot of information there. But for those, like I say, even if you're not studying Frankenstein, you can still see how we're doing. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Keep it simple. Follow that process. Evie, even if you're not doing Frankenstein, you can do this on whatever your text is. Okay. So please don't be freaking out going, oh, this is so complicated. It's because we're talking about Frankenstein. It's what Rafe asked for. Somebody give me something else that they'd like me to do next time on a different text, and we can do something. I can basically do the same thing again for something else, maybe a Christmas Carol, or depends what you guys want to do. But essentially, it's step 1, step 2, step 3, done. Nice and simple. 7 pluses. I hope that was okay. Super fast, I feel. Leah is saying, Rafe can't be here. He'll watch it back later. Can you believe we did this for him and he's not even here? Oh, Rafe, it's because my spell checker put his name as Ralph and then Rafe spelled his name wrong. So, Jekyll and Hyde. Yes, Millie, I will do some Jekyll and Hyde. Crumbs. How do I choose one quote from Jekyll and Hyde? Oh, there's some good ones. Okay, we can do that. So those guys, even if you're not reading Jekyll and Hyde, same principle actually as Frankenstein's. The themes are very similar. We'll look at our step 1, 2, 3, link it back to the text. Okay. Evie, what do you mean? Evie, you need to send me a message. Online. Okay, right. Frankenstein's always useful anyway. But Evie, I'd send me a message. We can chat about that. I don't know what's going on there, young lady, but you definitely should be doing some literature and getting your 7s. So I hope, guys, you found that useful. I've got 5 kittens that I'm just going to give away as prizes if nobody wants them. Any names would be great because currently they're named by a 6-year-old. So we've got Tiny Diamond, she likes trolls. Tiny Diamond, Lady Glitter Sparkles, Pipsqueak. So if anyone's got anything more inventive than me shouting Lady Glitter Sparkles, that would be amazing. They were awake, so I'm going to go play with them. Oh, Millie. I don't know. Oh, okay. I'm confused with what's being said there. I'm going to have a little chat with these girls. So we'll find out what's going on with Evie, but I hope that Leah is still here and alive. I know, Leah, you'll be doing this. I hope you found that useful. Rafe, if you join us, I hope you found that useful. Feel free to like it so that I know that you did. And we'll have a go at Jekyll and Hyde next time for Millie. And if anyone's got any questions, anything they want to say, as always, you're talking to Evie. Oh, I'll ignore you all then. Just talk amongst yourselves, girls. It's fine. I will leave you to it. In the meantime, let me know if you need any help with anything, quick questions, whatever you might need. And if I can help, I absolutely will. Just before we finish, because you guys are on here, I spoke to Millie earlier about this, but I'm going to look at doing some revision blocks when we go back to school. So I'll do like a 5-week block on Christmas Carol, and we'll do an hour a week, and it will be much, much cheaper than having a one-to-one session because it will be a group session and it will be a proper hardcore revision, everything you need to know about A Christmas Carol, and then everything you need to know about Romeo and Juliet, and everything you need to know about Macbeth, everything you need to know. So I'll do them in condensed, really, really detailed revision sessions. If that's something that you're interested in doing, if you could let me know, first of all, that you're happy to, that you'd like to do it, but second of all, days and times, because I'm getting quite busy. So I've moved this to 6 o'clock, which I think it's going to stay at 6 o'clock for a while. But yeah, I'm getting quite busy. So I want to try and pencil in where I can help the people that I already have, instead of like giving space to new people, if that makes sense. But yeah, you are welcome, everyone. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope that was helpful. and I will see you all next week. Take care and be good. Stay safe. Bye, guys.